This is how to make a killer sales pitch to make almost anyone buy from you. Because you can nail the discovery, build perfect rapport, find the deepest pain, but if you pitch wrong, none of it matters. That's why I'm about to show you the exact 4-step pitch I used to close $945,000 in one single month. And the first step is the reason most reps lose the deal before they even start: having a pre-pitch protocol. Your pitch doesn't determine success, the setup does. Because you can have the most perfectly researched prospect, the best rapport, the most in-depth discovery, but if you don't earn the right to pitch, no one will even listen to you. This is why step 1 of making a killer sales pitch is to have a checklist for the top half of your call. The mistake most reps make is they ask a couple of questions, and the moment they find pain, they jump on the prospect's neck like a ferocious bulldog. This is a selfish way to approach sales, because prospects see that you're out there for the sale, not to help them. And your prospect doesn't even care about your futures and your benefits if you haven't earned the right to present yet. So here's the solution: 5 checkboxes. You need to have 5 things checked off before you even think about presenting. Because your pitch has one purpose and one purpose only: to connect their specific pain to your specific solution. It's not to give them a laundry list of every single thing and future that you can do for them. And if you do it right now, that's the reason why you're getting think about it objections. You can't solve problems you don't fully understand. So lock down these 5 checkboxes before you move into the pitch. Number 1, pain identified. Not just business pain, what are they facing right now? Find the emotional level of frustration that's keeping them up at night. What most people do, they will ask a surface level question like, what's your biggest challenge right now? What top closers do is they go much deeper than that, asking things like, how long has this been going on for? How's that making you feel? How's that impacting the people and the team around you? The second thing on the checklist is impact understood. How is this pain affecting their daily life, their team, their growth? What's the real cost of having the problem unsolved? Number 3 is establishing the urgency. Why do they need to fix this now? What happens if they wait another 6, 12, 24 months? Do they clearly understand the consequences of inaction, the dark storm that's around the corner if they don't fix the problem? Number 4 is authority confirmed. Who actually makes the buying decision? Are you talking to the right person, or will this get passed along to someone else? Or are they planning to delegate the responsibility? Find out who the real decision maker is and how their decision-making process looks like. You can ask something like this: hey Chris, I never asked, how do you actually make decisions when it comes to solving problems like this? Like, how does the decision-making process look like? This will get you immense clarity around how they make decisions around this specific topic. Number 5 is budget qualified. Can they actually afford your solution? Have they invested in similar solutions before? Have they even invested in similar amounts before? If you're pitching to broke people, you're only going to get no's. The single most important element I want you to take away is find the real pain. Most reps think they found pain when someone says, oh yeah, we just need more leads. But top closers understand that's just a surface level symptom. The real pain is, I'm worried I'm not gonna be able to hit my numbers and my family will suffer. I'm tired of being stuck in the weeds, being the bottleneck of my own business. Or I feel like I'm failing my team as a leader. Can you hear clearly the pain? You know you've struck gold when they describe the pain as if you're watching a movie. It's visual, it's visceral, and you can clearly understand what's happening. Now, identifying the pain is only half the battle. If your prospect doesn't feel understood, none of it matters. This is exactly why the second step is to make them feel heard. This is where most reps lose. But if you can nail it, you can see a big flash in your prospect's eyes in the way that they respond to you. Here's the formula to follow. You need to match every single pain point your prospect has with a clear solution that you offer. You can use something like this. So Chris, based on what you told me, what you're doing can definitely help you get more leads and help you the income roller coaster that's making you feel maybe a little bit stressed sometimes. If you'd like, I can show you how exactly we do that. First, we're going to deploy a content engine so you can have predictable lead gen every single month, so you never wonder where your next lead is coming from. Can you see how I'm connecting a clear pain point with a solution that I'm offering? Now, why does this work so well? First, It references your discovery and you're showing them that, hey, I've been listening, I've been taking notes. Your prospect's guard comes down because they know that they're not talking to a robot. It's not a generic pitch. You're talking directly to them. Most reps say, let me show you our solution. Top closers say, based on what you told me, you're struggling with inconsistent revenue and it's making you feel that you're failing your team. Here's how you'll step up as the hero of your team. The second point is you're able to connect your solution to both their logical and emotional pain. Remember, people buy emotionally and justify logically. So you're giving them the ammunition they need to do both. So when you address how the pain makes them feel, you're speaking to the real decision maker, their emotions. Third, it asks for permission to present instead of launching into your pitch. When you say if you'd like, it gives them the illusion of control. They're choosing to hear how you can help, not being sold to, and they love it. Most reps assume interest means permission to pitch. Top closers, they only do permission-based pitches. Now, how do we structure a presentation to keep them engaged instead of thinking about what objection to hit you with? This is exactly what Step 3 is all about. Creating what I call the pain pillars. Here's my point. Futures kill presentations. Pain pillars close the deal. Because the more you talk about futures and benefits, the less your prospect is listening and the more they roll their eyes. Trust me. They've heard the same thing for everyone else. That's why you need specific pain pillars. After validating the real pain in step 2, it's time to use the rest of the presentation to tie each pillar of your service to the specific pain that they've described to you. It's not about futures. It's not about benefits. It's about connecting to their pain. Here's the difference between the two. The future is we provide marketing services. The benefits approach is we help you get more leads. The pain pillars approach is this. One of the biggest problems people have when they come to us is they don't know how to generate consistent leads without spending all their time on it. So the way we solve that for clients like you is we build a system that runs in the background and delivers qualified prospects to your calendar every single week. Do you feel this will get their attention? Do you see how much better that is? We're not listing futures, we're connecting each solution directly to a symptom that they see. The formula is super simple. Identify the challenge, connecting your solution, show the specific outcome. Here are some examples of how this works in practice. So if they mentioned lead generation problems, one of the biggest problems people have when they try to scale is they don't know how to generate consistent leads without spending their entire day on it. So remember when you said that you were tired of the feast and famine or the roller coaster months? So the way we solve that for clients like you is we build a system that runs in the background and delivers qualified prospects into your calendar every single week. So instead of wondering, where's my next client going to come from? You'll have a predictable pipeline that fills itself. Do you see the before and after in this equation? The before is you're in feast and famine cycles. The after is you have predictable lead gen. If they mentioned cash flow issues, remember when you said that unpredictable revenue is maybe keeping you up at night? Here's exactly how we eliminate that problem. We help you create recurring revenue streams so you know exactly what's coming in every month. No more stressing about making payroll, no more wondering if you can afford to hire that next team member. If they mention something like team management, when you told me that you're struggling to keep your team accountable and how that's affecting your results, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, here's how we solve it for clients. We implement tracking systems that gives you visibility into what's working and what's not working. So you won't have to wonder if your numbers are down or why are they down. You'll be able to have hard conversations that drive true team performance. So repeat this formula for each part of your offer and always tie it back to exactly what they told you in the discovery. Now, even the perfect pain pillars won't matter if you can't get them to make a decision. That's exactly where most good reps fail to become great closers. Get a decision, not just their interest. Your presentation was flawless. They're nodding, they're engaged, everything is going perfectly, but now it's time to get paid. The ingredient for your killer sales pitch are all there. Now the prospect has a million excuses and hundreds of objections. That's why how you close the deal is what takes a pitch from just okay to truly killer. Here's the biggest mistake. Biggest thing to keep in mind is to get a decision, not just interest. This is where most reps blow it. They present everything perfectly and then they ask, what do you think? Do you have any questions about anything? That's not getting a decision. That's getting a polite I'm interested. And interest will not get you commissions. So when someone says, it sounds great, maybe you're thinking that they're a buyer. What I'm hearing is absolutely nothing. I have no idea where they stand. I don't know what their concerns are, and they haven't said, I'm in. Where do I pay? You're basically fishing for a response and hoping for the best. So this is what I use in this decision phase. Step one, I want you to ask a commitment question. This is something like this. So, Mr. Prospect, based on what I covered, do you feel that this is something that can get you to where you want to go? Notice the word is can, not want to, not interested in, but can. Language matters and will dictate the results that you'll get. Now, this question gets them to confirm if it's even possible. And when someone says they can do something, they're making a mental commitment to their ability to do something. So most reps ask, are you interested? Top closers ask, can you see this working for you? Step two is handle any objections. So if you get objections, instead of going into rebuttal mode, you need to ask why though. So this uncovers the real resistance instead of handling surface level concerns. Most objections are just smoke screens. So when someone says it's too expensive, don't go offering payment plans. They're not really talking about the money. They're worried about making the wrong decision. They're afraid that it won't work. They're concerned maybe about what their spouse will think. When you're asking why though, you're using the psychological principle of cognitive elaboration. You're forcing them to think deeper about their actual concerns rather than saying a rehearsed response. They have the answers. There's nothing magical that you can tell them to get them to buy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard it's not in the budget, followed by, well, actually we just invested $50,000 in a new system last month. The budget objection was covering in an entire different thing. Step three, the tie-down technique. So here's how to tie down the sale. With what I've just gone through, this step-by-step system, is there any way you can see that this might not work for you? So this is how you tie down the sale for good. You confirm with question number one, and you validate with question number two. This uses loss aversion. The psychological bias is where people hate losing something more than they like gaining something. By asking them to actively find reasons why it won't work, you're making them defend the solution instead of you having to sell it. 9 times out of 10, they will actually start selling themselves. Step number 4, lock in the next steps. Finally, just lock them in. Say something like this. What's needed for you to get to that $100,000 a month you can get off the income roller coaster? It's $10,000. How would you like to proceed from here? Notice, I'm not asking if they want to move forward, but what's needed to move forward. This way, you're operating for the assumption that they want to move forward, which creates social pressure for them to either agree or explicitly say no. But note down this is not an assumed close where you just ask for their card information. You're still giving them the illusion of choice in their hands. So let's recap. First, you will earn the right to pitch by checking off your 5 discovery boxes before you even present. Then you will make them feel heard by connecting their pain to your solution and asking permission to show them how. Then, you will create the pain pillars by tying every piece of your offer directly to the problems they describe. In between the pillars, you can also pause and ask, does this make sense? Can you see how this might benefit you? So you can have a natural flow in between the pillars. Finally, get a decision by asking if they can do this, handle the real objection, use the tie-down technique, and lock in the next steps. Now, if you want to see the 9-word sales script that I've used to produce more than 7 million in 12 months, watch this video right here, and I'll see you there.